Let's see this one. Okay, let's do that again. Do you see the agenda? Cool. Okay. All right, and then whoever's editing this, Mark. Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of a Carvel community meeting. Today is February 17th, 2022. If you're watching from home, we encourage you to come join us live. We meet every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. It's an opportunity to listen in on what the maintainers are working on, provide live feedback, ask questions, or just get live help with any of the tools in the Carvel suite. If you're not able to attend live, you can also find us on the Kubernetes Slack workspace. We're in the Carvel channel, and we're on Twitter at Carvel_dev. Nancy's out today. She'll be back next week. I'm John, I'm your host. When you attend these meetings, we ask that you please read and abide by our code of conduct. Thank you. And if you have anything you want to discuss with the team, please add that to the discussion topic sections down here, right there. Add that into that section, and we'll definitely prioritize and get to that. Now, when you attend, we ask that you put your name in, like you see happening up here. And we do that so we can know who from the community is attending, and we keep those lines of communication open. And we invite you to input a comment in this issue. You can see pinned to the top of our Carvel repo going here. And you can share how you're using Carvel. Put your organization's logo. We can help promote your organization and learn more about how people are using the Carvel tools. Cool. All right, so let's jump into it. We've got some announcements here. So the first item is our Carvel community feedback survey. So the survey is still open. If you want to sneak in your feedback into our survey, we're going to close this the end of this week. So please, we would love to hear from you about how we can improve our tools this year. All right, and then on to our content section. So this week we've got a new blog article on Carvelizing Helm. Let me open that up. There's a really interesting exploration by our Rohit Agrawal. Am I getting that right, Aaron? Do you know?
Agarwal?
Agrawal, thank you. Sorry about that. So yeah, check that out. And then upcoming, we have a webinar on with our own Scott Rosenberg, and by our own I mean a great friend of the project. Scott's here today, actually. Scott's going to be hanging out with Lee, Dan, and Whitney, and talking about a unified package manager for Kubernetes. Scott, did you want to say a few words about that?
Yeah, so it's really going to be a webinar talking about the Carvel packaging APIs and using it for Helm, raw YAML, YTT, really trying to create that unified experience. And then digging deep into like how you can convert Helm charts into Carvel packages, and how to utilize YTT with Helm and all of that just to really gain a great package experience on Kubernetes.
Well, that's wonderful. So really highlighting the ability to choose the tools you want.
Exactly. We'll be digging into, I built a tool that converts any Helm repository into a package repository and makes it air-gapped as well, and actually generates the YTT schemas and everything. So we'll be going into that as well.
That sounds sweet. All right, I'm booking myself on that. Noon on text Tuesday. Okay, cool. Wow, thanks, man. Looking forward to that. All right, so that's it for our content. But wanted to invite you, if you are interested in sharing your knowledge and experience around Carvel. We'd love to hear from you. We have a sign-up form here. Take a look. It's just a matter of dropping a PR on this page, and look, we've got folks that are already signing up, grabbing spots. If you have stuff that you want to share, absolutely get up in here. And if you're not one of the maintainers, as a token of our gratitude, we'll drop you a t-shirt. So anyway, check that out. All right. Any other announcements that maybe didn't make it on the list? Cool. All right. Let's take a look here. First up for our status updates is the updated project roadmap.
Yeah, we've been doing some road mapping on the project, so provided some light updates here with some rough timelines. You can kind of see a few themes throughout the tools regarding stability, easy to get started, as well as just some kind of general enhancements that we think are good value adds to the tool set. But please feel free to give this a review. Let us know if you have any feedback. And I saw that we have a discussion topic today to discuss the granularity of the roadmap. But as of right now, we're only kind of showing some of the things that I would consider like the bigger tracks of work, things that would take weeks to months to do, rather than some of the regular releases that have smaller features. But yeah, please give it a review and let us know if you have any thoughts or questions.
Cool. Thanks, Aaron. All right. Any questions or comments about the roadmap? Looks good. Okay, so let's jump into what's going on this week. I'll pull up our Zen Hub. Take a look here. Can I close this?
I wish that were possible, but I've never been able to figure it out.
Yeah, okay.
The bottom left arrow.
This one? Nice. Look at that. All right. Anybody want to highlight anything that they're working on that's going on this week?
Started YTT version 40, startup 40 release. Started that today, so didn't want to announce it in this community meeting, and we'll announce it in the next community meeting, but just want to let you know that it's on its way, and all it is a module rename from our old legacy repo of K14s to the repo we moved to a little bit ago, which is the VMware Tanzu.
Sweet. Cool. Thanks, Garrett. Anyone else? Other things that are going on?
Yeah, I'll just mention the story I've been working on, which is the second one in the middle column, make YTT portable to Windows by changing the library key concept. In progress. This shows up when using YTT programmatically. There is a conflict with using the colon character. So that's in flight right now.
Cool. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, giving some support to our Windows friends. Fantastic. Anything else that's going on that folks want to highlight?
So for the image package, a couple of things have been happening. We got a contribution from the community on one issue that I think we'll have to discuss a little bit on what it looks like, and basically it enables image package to create tags when it copies an image from one repo to another. It creates a tag that is somewhat human readable. And so there's an implementation for that. We'll have to have a little bit more discussion on how it is done and if it makes sense for us to ship it as is, or if it makes sense for us to just change the way image package is currently tagging images. No, that's not the issue. I'm not sure if it is if you go to the PR,
It will be in progress.
It should be in progress. Maybe they didn't connect the add legible text 333. Yeah. Oh, the issue is 331, so they didn't connect the issue. So
Okay.
we should connect that issue. But yeah,
Cool,
so
cool.
basically that's it. So there's a little bit of more work. I'm gonna write something down today or tomorrow on the review of this PR. The other thing that we're working on image package is something that we noticed, where if you have an OAuth, if you have like a registry that uses OAuth to authenticate, image package was doing for every request that it did to try to push an image or to read an image, it was trying to get the token from the OAuth server, and that was causing some issues. Unfortunately, we didn't create an issue for that, but there is a PR right now there that will that will change this a little bit, and then we'll just need to go to the OAuth server only when we're trying to like once per repository per method. So that's a change there that we've been working on, as well as, like I said, I think I said last week, we're also working on a describe command that will provide a little bit more feedback on what is part of a bundle and what's not part of a bundle. So it's like, what are the images that are part of a bundle and where they came from, and so on. So that's the issue that's been under development. So I think that's it for image package and Kaggle.
Those are excellent additions. Appreciate that. Improving performance and making it easier to use. Love it. Other things that people are aware of, we're working on that you'd like to highlight? Cool, cool. All right. All right, if nothing else in terms of updates, then let's jump on over to our discussion topics. So I see one in here. We have two items. One is about, like Aaron was pointing out, the roadmap, and there is another question here. Somebody asking, "Oh, this is for Scott. This is interesting." Whoever put this in, did you want to kind of put some color around your question?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, like when I play with packages, I might have tens of packages at the most installed. And when Scott is talking about, oh, I can shovel anything from Helm into a package, I was just wondering, like, do you have a sense, Scott, like order of magnitude, how many packages you've run on a system installed?
Yeah, the most that I've had installed in a system has been 968.
Cool. And I guess at that level there was no issues.
Except for the fact that kubectl chunks things and then you don't get them all out with kubectl get packages. And then trying to figure out how to set the chunk size when doing it from a client, which is fun and very poorly documented in Kubernetes. It was, perfectly fine. I was starting to get some issues of in certain cases where it was loading on the API server. So there were cases of getting, client-side throttling. But that I've also experienced with less packages when you have a lot of package installs, I would say, as well. Right. More so than a lot of packages. So, yeah. Cool. But yeah, the number of packages has been perfectly fine.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's just, there's some threads we've discussed on the team, and I thought there's an opportunity to just ask for a real world data point. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, the best example that I have is when I bring in I built one for the entire Bitnami repository, which has 96 Helm charts, and I took the last 10 versions and created a package repository with 960 packages within it that were installed. And then I also had like the TCE one there. So that's how I got to a bit higher than that. So it was TCE plus that in that case.
Yeah. No, that's great. I think that's yeah, super helpful to have confidence that we're good at 1,000. That's great. Thank you.
Sweet. Yeah, thanks for sharing that with us, Scott. Any other questions around that came up for folks? Cool. All right. So let's dig into this other question here, this discussion topic, the roadmap. How granular do we want it to be?
So yeah, I added that question. I was thinking about the roadmap, and we have like a couple of bullet points on it. And in some sense, I'd be interested to understand also from the community side when they're looking at the roadmap, what they're looking for, and to try to understand if the amount of detail that we currently have there is enough or not. And because we're currently only adding like the major the topics that are going to take like more time or are like more involved and so on. And I think it would be interesting, maybe like in some cases, to have a little bit more, some sort of like a per release or something similar to that for our tools, and have like so that people have more or less an idea of what's gonna come, or what are the idea that we have for the next release of, like, for example, like image package. Like, what are the features that we can expect to have on the next version or something like that. So I'm not sure what y'all think about it. Like, what are your ideas, if you think that the current information is enough, or if we should provide more information or not.
I guess my head first jumps to the general question, who's our audience? And I'm trying to think about, can we answer that here? Do we have a sense of who it is that we're communicating with through our roadmap?
This is something that I would like to know as well, and would totally encourage people, if they're listening to this meeting, to share that information with us in our Slack channel. I do also have some, like, I guess that part of the audience for the roadmap would be people in the community who don't necessarily use ZenHub. ZenHub is where we track most of our like tasks and issues. But it does require like a browser extension. So our roadmap does not require that. So that's something.
A quick
I would say so.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, go for it.
I was just going to say, quick asterisk there. I just learned this morning, Carrie. Turns out ZenHub has finally implemented a in window, like in HTML, without needing an extension view. And that's actually what I was using this morning as we were going through that. I've never seen it before today, so I don't know how absolutely new that is, but so there's something there where you don't have to have the extension in order to view the backlog through that view. That's interesting.
I think the only thing I'll add to that is I think you still do need to authenticate though, sign in using GitHub.
Oh, I see.
But yeah. But yes, please let us know if any of that is friction to you viewing our backlog, because we're looking for feedback on whether ZenHub helps or hurts us. I think going back to Carrie's question about who is the roadmap for, so far the intention has been for the community at large, just to provide general transparency into what the project has planned. So it would be great to hear from the community, I guess, like what is the level of detail that folks are looking for. I understand like the value, that Joao had mentioned of like, it could be valuable to get a bit more granular and show more of the regular releases, things that maybe we haven't been putting as much I don't know, proactive planning around. We've been pretty, I don't know, just serendipitous with when we cut certain releases. Sometimes someone's asking for it, sometimes it's just been a while. So we don't have any sort of a regular, monthly type cadence at the moment. But again, we're certainly open to feedback on all of this.
I think that from my side, I would say, I think that the best example of roadmaps in an open source that I've seen have been Tanzu Community Edition, actually, where they actually have two. And I know that's extra maintenance, but they have a high level one, which is just roadmap.md, which has, the high level what's being planned for the next year, high level kind of tasks, whatever. And then there's the engineering roadmap, which has more detail. It's not going into the level of a Zen Hub or, looking at a backlog, but going into more detail of what those things actually entail. And they have like the links to the issues that are relevant in there. And it allows kind of that two-leveled view because I think there are two types of users. There's the people that just want to look and see very quickly, okay, what is the general approach that's being taken? Where is the product going? And then there are people who are actually looking for a feature and want to understand making kapp more stable. Well, is what I believe that making kapp more stable is actually included in that task? Or in that larger, kind of bucket. And having those two roadmaps makes it a bit easier. It doesn't overwhelm the person who just wants to get a general idea, but gives also the detail for those looking for it. I personally have never logged into Zen Hub out of principle, so I've never seen the backlog.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Scott. That's great to hear just your experience so far, and also really appreciate the example to go look at TCE's practices and see how we could learn from them.
Yeah, I think the engineering one is actually a pinned issue. That's just there. That the engineering roadmap is a pinned issue that they have just on the top of the issues. So anyways, someone that would be going there is someone that's probably looking for a bit more detail when they go to the issue tab, and that's going to be at the top of the issues. So it's a nice way of doing it as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
I love it when we dig into a question and we come back out with more than what we asked for in terms of clarity and perspective. That's great. I didn't mean to end that conversation. Does anybody have other insights or thoughts about the roadmap? Cool. Hey, Joao, thanks for bringing up that question. Where am I at? Did I get lost? I'm right here. Oh, nice.
I added one more thing to the discussion topics. This is a public repo that someone shared, and it is an example of Git ops with kapp-controller and YTT. And I don't know if we need to go into great detail, but this exists in the open source world. Fundamentally, it's using kapp-controller's app CR to track state in Git and deploy it on the cluster. So I just and the author is very enthusiastic about the YTT templating also. So I thought I just noticed it as I thought this would be just a good moment to share this project, because it really establishes Carvel as a thought leader in the space of Git ops.
Wow, this is great. Thanks for sharing this, Joe. This looks really interesting, and it right on the front page you're getting details about how it all comes together. Cool. This is awesome. Nice. Nice. Cool. All right. Any other items that we should chat about today that maybe didn't make it on the list? Okay, cool. Hearing none. Thanks everybody. for joining today's Carvel community meeting. If you're watching from home, we'd love for you to join us live next week. And until next week, take care. See you, everybody.